So G1 Sludge. So this is what we've got currently. Again, guys, this is not what's going to be released. But 18% increased wall damage, but obviously it's at level 1, so I imagine it'll go up to a wall buster when it's maxed out. But each wall destroyed by a seismic charge increases Sludge's health by 2% for 3 seconds. So it says they're stackable to 10. And the first impression of this was pretty awful, if I'm honest with you. And I think it will get changed. I'm pretty confident. Now, the problem with this is no matter what they give Sludge, it's either going to change his whole functionality on what he was designed for, or it's going to be crap. Because the problem isn't Sludge himself. The problem is that the problem that Sludge was designed to solve is no longer a problem, and so he does nothing. So back in the day when sort of Sludge came out, everyone was sort of running honeycomb bases, making people time out because it was struggling getting through walls. And then the 8s brought out a lot of things to, and I'm not gonna lie, at the time it was annoying timing out. It was, but it was quite annoying time out. But the solution then was to go exact opposite way. Rather than having walls relevant, what they did was they didn't increase the health enough in line with the HQs, and so it became walls that were easy to get through. And then not only did they do that and not upgrade walls enough, but they also brought out a lot of counters for walls. So warriors got their the boost against walls. They brought out a lot of bots that did high damage to walls, and so walls became kind of irrelevant. And that's why with most bases, most top bases now, if you go and take a look at them, most don't run enclosed walls. They tend to use them to path, tend to set in triangle sort of shapes to try and path you a different direction than what you would want your bots to go in. Make them split, make healers run around, healing less and getting caught by defenses and things like that. And so going back to Sludge, the problem with Sludge is not Sludge. The problem is that honeycombs are no longer a thing. And so if they want to bring Sludge back into the meta, give them a G1, I think first they need to address walls. But the problem is they can't just smash up the HP of walls. Because I was talking to Yanis about this quite a while ago. Because if they do that, then bots will walk around walls forever to get round because they know the wall HP is far too high. And that's why we get bots walking round walls already. Because they realise that walking round the wall is faster than walking through it. Or trying to get through it. And so the higher they raise the HP, the more that will happen. And that's why it becomes a bit of a problem. So I'm not too sure of a solution, if I'm perfectly honest. I mean, they can increase the wall HP if they solve the fact to stop bots walking around walls. But is that possible? I don't know. I'm a bit stuck with Sludge. I was stuck when it came out, and I really had to think about it. And it's not often I can sit here and say that I'm at a loss for a bot. I can always look and go, this is what he needs. And people who play to sort of said, oh, let him do the same damage against one wall, or let him hit a few walls. I was like, yeah, but that's not his functionality. That was nose cones. But do we change his functionality in a way with his G1? Is that a good thing doing that? Changing his functionality when he gets a G1? Because then if you don't want to change his functionality eventually, then you don't want the G1, and that's not really a good thing. The G1 should make whatever he does better. And he destroys honeycombs and enclosed walls. So, a bit of a tough one for Sludge. It's going to be really hard to balance. And I think no matter what they do, they're going to get it wrong. I think the wrong thing they did was to pick Sludge in the first place in the current meta. I think they needed to solve a solution for walls and make walls more difficult and make people not time out, but at least be pushed for time. And the way I look at it is, if you're struggling to get through walls, then you're going to get getting hit by more defenses. And so they need to be up, but not ridiculously up. But yeah, they need to be a thing. You know, walls need to be a thing again because they haven't been for a long time. So this is Scavenger and Rust. So 6% increased ability damage, which is pretty decent. Enemies destroyed by the ability to increase rust dust attack damage by 1%. So basically, when she puts her ability down, whatever she kills, it would increase her DPS. But then someone made a good point in playtest, and they said, "But if you destroy most of the targets around her, because she has quite small range, then why would you need a DPS increase after that?" And it's a valid point, really. It's not very well thought out, but I just don't. I just think it very simple. It just needs an ability increase on damage and a range increase to match skids. Easy, fixed, simple, done. And I've said a few times in playtest, and I keep sort of saying it. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. What's its main downside? And yeah, we can talk about the survivability of Scavenger and Rust Dust, but the main downside that we look at is when you're trying to combine it with skids, it doesn't match the range. And that's what puts me off. And if Scavenger and Rust Dust range actually matches skids and knockout, then I'd be more inclined to use them, clearing areas. So that's definitely a fix, definitely to make them better. Then we've got G1 Sandstorm for the Toxic. Increases special ability damage by 6% and gives the bot the ability to fire an acid bullet that deals 1.1% of the bot's DPS over 3 seconds. So quite similar to Nightstick in that sense. So increased special ability damage is just, yeah, there. And yeah. And then I should have another G1 somewhere. So there's supply one. So as we sort of talked about in the last stream, Sandstorm will have 2 G1s. And the second one is a healing is increased by 6%. But obviously that goes up. But also regenerates 1% of their health. So also like a Micronus. So some people say like they went an Alchemist Core. But this is better because an Alchemist Core only works when he's doing damage. Whereas this regenerates like a Micronus. So as you upgrade that as well, fusion mode activated. Oh, I love that. And as you upgrade it, let's have a look. So you can see there, the healing boost gets increased as you level it up. So then we've got G1 Block and Rook. So restores 1.16% health every 5 seconds. So very similar to Micronus Core. But the explosive decoy now reflects 50% of damage it takes. So not only does it do damage, but also reflects damage as well. So basically just increase damage that it does. And again, you can see there, I've not really used it right now. Sort of getting my first impressions and really focusing on Sludge. If I'm honest, Sludge needs a massive, I don't know what it needs, something really big. But G1 Block looks pretty good to go. I can't imagine that changing much because most of the playtesters have tried it out and said that it is pretty decent. It is pretty good. Micronus, like a lot of people do, you put Micronus on Rook, and more damage. What's that like? So yeah, pretty cool. Who have we got left? Grapple and Dirtbag. So 11% increased ability damage. Every 10 seconds, a mine appears at the bot's feet. Attracts falls in a mid-sized area, deals certain damage after 10 seconds, or if the mine is destroyed. So, I think first impressions on this was increased ability damage. All for that, fair enough. But this every 10 seconds, a mine appears at the bot's feet. So, this goes back again to the fact about warriors versus special bots and the big difference. And so we talked about survivability. So why would we want a mine at the feet of a special bot? You want damage away from him, not to attract damage. So I understand his ability is to push damage away and negate it by attracting it. But to then put a mine at your feet to attract it, it's gonna still get your bot's gonna get hit by any AoE. So I'm not a fan of this dropping a mine near your feet. It doesn't make no sense. I don't know. But then obviously it blows up after 10 seconds or gets destroyed, but just dies very quickly. If I'm honest with you, that's the problem. Yeah, the ability damage is good. I mean, like, we can sort of level our grapple up. Let's have a look at a max grapple and see what he actually does. So Poison Man absorbs 65% damage received, tracks near a ringer. After 10 seconds, it explodes, dealing 4k damage. Compared to Rook, which does 6k damage. Yes, it is a 5-star at a slightly higher level. Doesn't quite compete. And I see a few people asking me to sort of try these out. I'm not going to try them out actually in game yet, guys. Some aren't quite working right. Some aren't doing the numbers they should. So it's kind of unjustified, really, to sort of really show them in battle and say, hey, this is what they're doing. And then they're not actually doing that. So I'm not going to really show them in battle yet. But at least it gives you an idea on up to now what the plans are. But this could soon change.